international standing and alliances. You guys are a form of government, socio-economic conditions, and will be social issues.
Does that make sense to everybody? Everybody knows, all the groups know what they're doing, okay? Perfect.
In terms of what the other groups might say that you might actually be able to kind of counter.
The Mesoamerica group can make the argument that they're so close.
The history department has been experimenting with not so much assessing the students, but providing them with an experience in which they think about the material that they learned that semester, but not necessarily in the form of a midterm. You're seeing students developing arguments together, and they're pulling from primary sources, and they're thinking about the evidence that they've been discussing all semester. Because we gave them several days in class last week to prepare with their teacher, they all seem to have really thought about this, and I think there's a little bit of a competitive element, sort of like a athletic game or something like that, and so they all seem like they really want to win North America.
Anybody that would like to make an alliance with me to help kick these people out, and I would give them a lot of gold. I'd argue for you guys can get America.
It is pretty clear that the Ottomans should have control of this newfound land, for we are successful in thriving on all fronts: political, economic, cultural, and religious.
Not a single one of these countries has the resources, has the manpower, has access to this country to actually be able to conquer it.
If we're fighting people with guns, we're not we're not like idiots.
Oi, an envoy.
I'm not saying we're idiots, but there's not much you can do with a wooden spear against a gun.
The students are not just answering a question, but they're actually developing the question, asking for clarification.
All the soldiers were paid for the whole year, which is important because, well, it just shows their fairness, and that even the slaves, which were various races and Christians, not even part of the state religion, received pay.
This is a very good point.
What other neighboring empire made use of Christian
slaves?
Very good.
We don't want to rule them, we want to bond with them.
Yes, exactly.
I think that what you're seeing here is students, intellectual curiosity, and I think the Dalton students have a ton of that, and they really seem to be enjoying this.
All right, let's just...
It's not all clear? Well, did you mark up where it's not clear?
In the second session in the 9th grade, they're going to be peer editing, and one of the things that this day has really allowed for us to do is do some of the things that it's really hard to do in a normal school day. So with the peer editing, they're going to be, all 9th graders looking at a particular object are going to be editing one another, which I think is going to be much more valuable. So now you have students who are experts on their own object helping one another edit their papers, and so that's much more valuable. It's something we just couldn't do in a normal school day.
What's your object?
Our object is George Clifford, the 3rd Earl of Cumberland. It's an armor. It's armor.
It's a decorated piece of armor from the 16th century.
I mean, even though he was one of the major jousters, he the specific armor that he wore wasn't any more ornate or any more I didn't see than any of the other armor there. And there was a huge hall of armor that was almost exactly the same.
George Clifford's armor, the difference about it is the symbols on it showed a lot of allegiance to the Queen. There were symbols that represented England's military.
This is probably the biggest paper, the really, really big project that we have over the course of the year, and we're just reading over each other's outlines, seeing sort of how it looks right now, and giving each other sort of tips and pointers about how we should go about this.
You get to work on something like a long-term project like this that you get help from your peers also.
Yeah, and reading theirs, I noticed some new things that I didn't notice last time, so possibly I could add them to my paper for more research and stuff, and it just helps because then you get a full understanding of what other people think of it.